There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to RFL Season 11 for the penultimate round of the season, round 15 out of 16. And we already see a Williams mechanic running out to let the cars go out onto the track. I'm joined here by Cal in this very cold Las Vegas night. And yeah, Cal, how are you doing? How are you, Mister?
I am
Tell me.
doing very well, thank you. And yeah, hope everybody is also having a lovely day. And it has been a nice and sunny day up in Scotland for a change. And
Yeah,
yeah,
very nice. Same for us. Switzerland was very nice weather today. We went on a six-hour drive almost, driving a few
that
passes here and there. It
sounds
was very fun.
very
It was very
fancy
fun
indeed.
indeed.
Um,
We had fun, and yeah, that's the most important thing. It was nice. We had to exploit the weather. So today, that aside, of course, you can see we are at Las Vegas. We've had. That's actually the first time in RFL we're racing around Las Vegas, and that's just 1 week before the new game comes out. So it's a pretty nice send-off for this track, at least in this game. Clumby is the first one who's going to start his lap. But yeah, Cal, you know, Las Vegas is a very tricky circuit because you need a lot of straight line speed, but there's also quite a few tricky corners. And we're going to find out what drivers run today as Clumby starts his lap.
yep, he certainly does. And down into turn one into second gear for a lot of the corner. And getting as close as he can to those walls using those track limits, and will indeed have the DRS open as we head down into, I believe, is turn number 3, if I'm not mistaken, just based off the track map. But we now go into the sort of tight and twisty section of the circuit with the large sphere off to the left hand side of the track. Not quite hitting the apex there on the left hand corner out of that sector as we head into sector 2 now. Basically just one braking zone in this sector which we get onto now, not quite hitting that apex, and now down the Las Vegas strip where in the race time we saw a week or two ago that the slipstream and DRS is extremely powerful down here, so that is certainly something to be watching out for come the race time. But now into the final braking zone of the lap now, going through the left, right, left chicane, and now on to what is now pretty much the pit straight around the left hand corner and across the line. It's 1 minute 35.0.
Next up is Junior Correa, racing towards the finish line.
Yep, they're about to
Second.
start their lap, I believe.
Oh yeah.
And across the line next is going to be Fredster 332.
Apparently his first league race.
And a
32.820.
32.8, yeah.
Solid lap time, that one. That's a very solid lap. Fins is, I think, on a lap. He is indeed in the Alfa Romeo, sending it, and he goes even quicker. Wow, that's 1.2 seconds faster. 31.627. Very solid lap time indeed by the... Vapakut is on a lap. Oh, he's going to start his lap. Skull Killer is going to finish his lap towards the finish line, and it's a 33.551. Next up, I think could be Tom Gorian. Yes, it is Tom Gorian, one of the two championship contenders, second fastest with a 31.874, very close to Fins, and that is a solid job, right? That's a very solid lap time from the Scotsman in the Alpine.
Yep, Lord James beats him though with a 31.7. Only
Oh, there's
a tenth and a bit off pole position for now.
gonna go on board with Vapid because he's the other championship contender. He's for the first time this season he's leading the championship. After 14 races, he finally finds himself in P1. He's on the mediums though, so he's just doing a banker lap. The absolute
Junior
sweat.
Crea also on the mediums, slots into P4.
Sliding a bit off the circuit. So yeah, Vapid with the mediums. Taking slipstream off of his teammate. So that's obviously something that we need to look after as well. Because Vapid has a teammate while Tom doesn't. So maybe could benefit from that. To get a better starting position. Towards the finish line goes the Mercedes driver. And up into just P4. We're saying only P4 considering the slipstream. It's a mediums still. It's a pretty good lap time. Of course, he did have a massive aid from his teammate on the entirety of the Las Vegas back straight. So, thanks to that, he's obviously a bit further up as what he would have been without that slipstream.
Yeah, there's a lot of time to be gained with that slipstream. As we can see, only 4/10 off Tom. And that is on a harder compound of tyre, as it is Vesper Jupiter next to cross the line as he approaches the end of the lap and around the final corner and slots in to P6.
So lap times are very close so far. Of course, a couple of guys on the mediums that still need to do a proper lap time on the soft compound tyre. Of course, this track, usually the gap between the soft and the medium is just about over half a second, between half a second and 8/10 of a second, and certain tracks even a second, depending on how poor grip is around those specific circuits. Deton, the only one to have to yet set to lap time, is out on the track now. Obviously, him and Kozlesko are fighting for the Constructors' Championship against the likes of Alpine and Mercedes. And to a certain extent, also Haas.
Yep, the four teams there just mentioned, all still within a shout of getting the Constructors' title. I believe
who's more likely
all four of the teams are within maybe around 20 points or so. I can't remember the exact numbers, but it's around about that figure.
So, Deton about to start his lap. Las Vegas, actually a pretty fun circuit, which got a lot of hate in real life for understandable reasons. Still, prices and positionings, still, and like the dates and time, still a bit iffy, but the racing was actually very decent as Deton goes into the start-finish line and starts his lap into turn 1. He slides a little bit, third gear to 5th. Tricky corner this one, turn 3 very tricky, turn 2 very tricky, sorry about that. It's a very low grip, it's very high speed but low grip corner, and you have no back, it's a very flat corner, that one. And this is the more driven part of the circuit. It's a very understeery bit, you could say. Using the curbs nicely, running very, very wide on the track to have as clean of an entry into the corner as possible to have a fast exit. This S section where in real life Lando Norris crashed quite heavily on the opening stages of the race, but Deton drifting into the corner, it seems like he doesn't have any sort of rear end grip on his car. That Kozlesko has left session. There's a car there. I think that is the Haas of Lord James. felt a little bit, just a little bit of slipstream that does Deton as he goes towards the final corner. And across the line, it's just 10th place still. Gets a lap time on the boards, but it's not enough to really move up a place. And barely enough to maybe challenge for P9. Obviously, Skull Killer is retired from the session, and Deton is about half a second off of his teammate, who now with Fredster in the mix as well, this could make Vapid's quest for the constructors title, at least Mercedes' quest for the constructors title, much easier, because of course 2 cars now compared to just 1 usually.
Yep, it's always ideal to have both cars in the race. Obviously McLaren have that with obviously Francesco and Terzi Deton. In the running, they currently lead the constructor standings at the moment. Obviously now on to the penultimate round of the season here at Las Vegas. But Lord James has had what has looked to be a decent lap so far from what I've seen, and comes out of the final braking zone sequence but backs out of the lap and heads into the pits though.
Yeah, because he messed up, I think, the final chicanes. Messed them up a little bit, so he felt like best to abort the lap because he lost too much time in the end.
Yeah, Vapid's now just gone through the chicane as well. Is he going to finish the lap here? Looks like he is.
This time it didn't have slipstream from his teammate.
Oh,
He's invalidated
the
his
lap. That was silly. There from the Mercedes driver. Invalidating
went over
on a flat out corner.
It just took to the inside line too much. Just bit too much out of the track there, and got penalised for it, you could say. Trying to cut as much time away from his lap and getting himself a corner cutting instead.
Yeah, I don't know if he was going to improve there or by how much he was going to, but that is certainly a big mistake with only 4.5 minutes of the session to go, as Kezlesko comes around the final corner to start another flying lap in his McLaren car.
Obviously everyone else except these two are in the pits. I understand that they're most likely waiting for the last minute to go out on track and set their bangers. Well, the question is, will somebody mess up? Maybe waiting too long and running out of time to really do a go and set a proper lap time. Oh yeah, those. Kezlesko improves with a 32.689 up to P7, and just like you said, yeah, the stakes are extremely high tonight. I mean, it's kind of fitting if you think about it, because it is a gamble. there's a lot of risk. There's lots of glory, risk at stake here. And what better place than Las Vegas, a city where gambling and taking high risk for high reward usually is the case in the casinos and what not. What else takes place here in Sin City? And ideally for Tom, of course, finishing the race is one thing, but last week he did a blunder. I'll be very honest. It's gonna be a bit harsh, but he messed up completely with his fuel. Ran out of fuel, and that cost him some valuable points. And from being 3 points ahead, he went 3 points behind. And just like you said, Tom Gorian has started his lap. And we're going board with him. Oh, he's hit the wall though. Hopefully no damage for the Scotsman. Doesn't seem to be any as he sends the car into turn 3. Is he improving? That's the question. Tom obviously a very good qualifier. When he needs to do the job, he does do the job in quali. Lord James, and very early championship contender. Fortunately, through a couple of events, didn't manage to consistently score, and that put him essentially, mathematically is still in, like you said, but realistically, he's out of the championship realistically, so per se. But of course, this is Formula 1, and we all know how Formula 1 works. Anything can happen here, and it usually does. As Tom, not improving. Vapid is the next driver. He just started his lap, his final lap of the session. Can he beat Tom? A mad 31-3 there. Vapid. Bit iffy on the exit of that one there. I cannot lie. Let's see if he can improve. Of course, this sector I think he's not going to improve because the slipstream he got from his teammate was quite significant. Fint has retired on his on the end of his lap, right? So yellow flags here. Whoa! If ghosting was not on, oh, I wanted to see that. If ghosting wasn't on, let's see. Vapid was improving by 0.3 of a second, but it's not enough, I think. And he remains in 4th. So Tom Gorian crucially ahead of Vapid Coot 74 in the Alpine. There you have it, your qualifying positions as, okay, Junior Correa won the mediums. That's interesting. Right, Lord James, pole position man for today, as it's been the case for every race except 4, I guess. Fintz in 2nd place, crashing on the final lap. Could have gotten pole position there, just a bit over 0.2 of a second, separating himself from P1. Tom Gorian, a very good 3rd place, sorry, with Vapid a 2 further tenths behind. Junior Correa on the mediums, he Could have been much better on the softs, obviously, but still very solid lap time. Fredster, Deton, Vespa Jupiter, Kislesko, Skull Killer, and Clumby round off the grid for tonight's Las Vegas Grand Prix. And now, we're gonna wait 5 minutes before it is ready to go. This race has high amounts of stakes, and I can't wait to see what happens. I'm nervous myself, honestly, for some reason. If Vapid retires, what does Tom need to do to win the championship today? Regardless of what happens. So, but it is possible because Vapid is ahead. For if Tom retires, yeah. So all Tom needs to do is not retire, I guess. But it's a difficult circuit for this. It's a difficult circuit, this one. And I wouldn't be surprised if we go into the final race level on points with these two, and that would be Max Verstappen versus Lewis Hamilton 2021 sort of style race. And that would be a fantastic finale, wouldn't it be? Imagine that happens. That could be the most hyped final race in RFL's history. Just a couple of more minutes left to go. We shall see what kind of strategies the people are on. Everyone is starting on the mediums. So, you know, I kind of miss this rule. Where the old Q2 rule, the old qualifying rule, depending, like if you you had to use the tire you qualified on for the start of the race, which would have meant everyone was going to start on the softs except Junior Correa. That would have been interesting to see. I mean, you never know. Yeah. You never know because we're talking about Tom and Vapid here, but we can't miss out Lord James, who sort of is the Kimi Raikkonen in this situation, if you recall. We were all talking about Hamilton and Alonso. Oh God, it's Hamilton is out. Alonso's not having a good race. Kimi Raikkonen's won the race. That means they're going into the final race with still a couple of points to spare, but then something happens again, and the most unlikely championship winner actually wins the championship. So we still never know what's going to happen. Exactly. Indeed, that is the case. What race is next week? The final race, is it Brazil? So quite fitting, isn't it? Very fitting indeed. Brazil, if we do indeed get a championship finale for next week, which is most likely the case, you never know with the game and with just racing in general. And for Tom's sake, I hope he's put enough fuel in the car. Hopefully. Because if he runs out of fuel again, That would be a massive shame indeed. So, should be going now. And they're off for the penultimate formation lap on this game in the season. And what better way to what's the best send-off this game can have? It's a championship finale next week, just a couple of days before the new game releases. Interesting to see that Lord James has underfueled his car, as he usually does. Both Finns and Lord James have underfueled their vehicles. And they're the only ones in the entirety of the field to do that. So they must feel very confident in their ability to pull away and eventually save some fuel, and even gambling on a safety car, which could be very likely. I mean, obviously, you still have the straight to go. It's almost time to start the penultimate round, and I'm very nervous indeed. I've never been this nervous for a league race, at least in my commentary position. We're just a couple of meters away from starting the penultimate round here in RFL Season 11 with Lord James and SFR Finns. Whenever these two race, they always occupy. As Lord James has been disqualified from his grid position. And look at that Aston Martin of Vespa Jupiter, very aggressively pointing the inside. Columbia as well, aggressively pointing on the inside as well. So, and unfortunately we have a start view from the rear as we are on 5 red lights. And they are out, and away we go for the penultimate round here in Las Vegas. It's a great start from Finns. It's a great start from Tom Gordon around the outside of Finns. Can Tom make it stick? Lord James has run a little bit wide, and that puts Finns in prime position to attack him. Side by side into turn 2 they go. The Alfa Romeo and the Haas, and it means that Finns is ahead into turn 3. Going into turn 3, Tom Gordon is very close. He's going side by side. He's having a look down the inside. Look at Junior Correa down the inside of Vapid. Vapid makes contact with him, and he's sent wide with Vespa Jupiter having a look around the outside, but no. Junior Correa very aggressive off the start, getting ahead of Vapid. Tom Gordon really needs that. It's the best case scenario so far for him. And we have a yellow flag. It's Columbia who's crashed into a wall. Looks like he's got some damage, as well as Skill Killer, who's lost his entire front wing. No safety car, just yellow flags so far. They've been already taken away. Oh, Tom is sideways. Tom is sideways on the final corner. That scared the guys behind him. God, that was scary there. As Finns and James are going side by side. Who's got the better of the other driver? Still side by side. They're still side by side, but now James pulls ahead towards the penultimate few corners. Through the chicane, Tom losing the rear end. Oh, was that Vapid going over the curb? It was. was Vapid going over the kit, but it should be fine. No damage done to his car, I think. Fins has a look down the inside. Tom now being put under pressure by Junior Correa. Yellow flag, I think one of the two McLarens spun. No, it's Fredster. Fredster with a spin. Clumby in the pits as well as Skull Killer. Finn's not managing to attack Lord James again. They're just going to have to wait until the final bit of the lap. It looked like it. It was scary. Yeah, it was the runoff he managed to use. That was very scary indeed. The two McLarens are already being dropped like flies at the moment. They're already 4 seconds behind on the hard tyre, obviously. Not the greatest choice around here, a track like this. But it's difficult to keep tire temperature up for good performance, best performance possible from the tyres. And the lack of grip in general around this circuit, because you need a lot of straight line speed, and the lack of downforce really just makes for a hellish experience on those harder compound tires. Finn's still staying behind of Lord James. Tom being put under serious pressure here from the two cars behind him, but Vapid is a bit further back, dropped out of a second range, which means no DRS from the Scots, but for the Scotsmen at the moment. With Tom Gorian actually setting the fastest lap of the race, so he's slowly closing the gap. He's got DRS now, obviously. His DRS just gets enabled this lap, managing to stay as close as possible, which means DRS for basically everyone in this train except Vapid, who's over a second and still losing some time. Junior Correa is Junior's looking very quick in that Ferrari at the moment. He seems like he could put pressure to the leaders. Obviously, he qualified 9/10 of a second off of pole position on the medium tires, by the way. So there's about 8/10 of a second to be found. So he's on the pace. And I think Vespa may have hit the wall there. Not too sure. It looked like he clapped the wall a little bit. So potential damage for the Aston Martin driver. Fredster gets a corner cutting penalty. The police going after him for that, I guess. You can hear in the background. And Tom with the DRS. Junior with the DRS as well. But obviously, all of them using DRS off of each other is not going to make it any easier to get closer to the car ahead. Except Fins. Fins lines up. Ooh, very close to hitting the wall. Fins being really the only other driver in this league in terms of pace to be able to challenge Lord James consistently. There's a yellow flag again. I think that's one of the Mercedes doing something. Top. Deaton, has he lost his wing? Yep, Deaton has lost. Missing wing, virtual safety car, so no safety car. Oh, there is a full safety car now. Full safety car now. We're 4 laps in, 22 laps to go. And so far it was a very good race. Indeed, we've had battles for the lead. Tom setting fastest laps. And yeah, Vapid was dropping away a little bit. But the safety car is going to bring him right back into this. Obviously, it wasn't much time. It was just a bit over a second, but still. This allows him to get back into that DRS range for the time being. After the safety car goes back into the pits. But the question is, how long can he stay there? Because it didn't look like he was doing too well on pace. The Mercedes off. Oh, no. Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's Finn's. Is that Finn's? Oh, it's Tom. Oh, what's going on? What's happened? Who's out? Lord James. What happened? What has happened? James is out. Oh my God. That crash. We only saw the tire in the pit entry. Don't know what happened there. I think he saw everyone else go darting into the pits, and he was like, I'm gonna do that as well, but maybe lost the car and crashed out. Hey, I've never seen that before. I just saw yellow flags, and all of a sudden that there was this tire just popping off, and Tom almost driving into it. That was pretty weird accident there. That's interesting to see. Obviously, Tom and Vapid are going to copy every move they make. So Tom is going to do something and Vapid's going to copy the exact same thing, because he doesn't want to get it. He doesn't want to let him out of his sights. He wants to be on the same exact strategy. He wants to be on the equal tire. He wants to be on the equal strategy. Than his championship rival. Of course, Vapid now leads for the first time this season the championship. He was quite far behind at some point, but thanks to consistency and I think 2 race wins, he managed to claw the gap back up to Tom, and now is ahead of him by 3 points. But at the moment on track, who is ahead? It is Tom Gorian at the moment, and he could challenge Finns for the race victory here. Tom only won 1 race, and that was in round 8, I believe, yeah. I think that was in round 8 in Australia when Lord James crashed out of the lead. But yeah, like you said, that retirement, basically Lord James is now completely and fully out of the championship fight, and it is officially only Tom and Vapid left for the Drivers' Championship. But for the Constructors' Championship, it's still Mercedes versus Alpine versus McLaren. McLaren with a comfortable lead at the moment, I believe. And momentarily, P6 and P7 for the 2 McLarens. Moving on to the mediums, the opposite tire they were having previously. And that just tells me they may have to pit again. Also, as I think that Hards can make it to the end, but it really depends how, like, pace-wise. It really depends on what kind of pace they can run consistently, because tire wear after it's 20 laps now, or just 19 and a half left to do on these tires, so it's still possible, but it's not ideal compared to somebody like Finns, who's got the pace. He's really quick, plus with those softs he can pull away and gain a heap of time, then pit in again and have another set of soft tires fitted to his car. He's done that before. He's done it in Baku in season 10, where he's gone onto the softs while everyone else was on the hards, and he just pulled away, made a gap, pit in again, overtook another couple of cars to win the race in dominant fashion that race weekend in season 10, as the safety car pulls in at the end of the lap, which is just now, the safe Baron Mylander has just now reached the pit entry, And now Finns is the one to decide, becoming the de facto safety car. And he sends the car into turn 1. We are off again for the restart here, with Tom still remaining pretty close. With Vespa, I think, going into the pit lane to change maybe tires or wings or something. Vespa Jupiter. Junior Correa now closer to Tom than what Tom was to Finns there. Vapakut 74 in 4th place. He's already over a second behind the likes of Junior Correa, and he's got a Kozlesko on medium tires. Very hot on his heels. He's going to try and get past him very quickly. And Junior Correa pushing Tom through the corners. Like, come on, get a move on. I want to catch that Alfa Romeo, he's saying to Tom at this moment. But yeah, 1.2 seconds the gap between Tom and Finns. Now Finns is probably going to streak away into the distance, so all Tom can do is try and keep Junior Correa behind him the best he can. But of course Junior Correa with a penalty. Don't know when he got it, but he does have a penalty to his name, which means Tom could potentially use him as a slipstream in front of him if he does get passed by Junior Correa. That's something you can keep in mind. Vapid is consistently dropping off. He's already 1.8 seconds behind. He's lost 0.8 of a second just one lap alone, and he's being put under a lot of pressure by the guys behind. Because let's go on the mediums with Skulk. Everyone, all the 3 cars behind him, all on the mediums. Obviously better suited for this track. The medium is the race tire around here. The hard tire really just isn't a car that isn't a track that really favors the hard tires. This one with Zlesko almost falling out of DRS range. There's a yellow flag. Vespa Jupiter is out of the race, and that may be another safety car. It is not a safety car. So Tom Gorian, who was being dropped by Finns, can close up again. Finns thinking to himself, "Come on, I was pulling away." He even had some time to message Lord James for the. Ooh, apparently Vespa Jupiter retired on track on purpose, apparently according to Finns, but we can't know for sure. So the question is anyone else going to pit again? Yeah, apparently it was the case, but I think it more looked like just cold tires caused that one. Of course it can happen. Let's see, does anyone go into the pits? Nobody. So maybe just that then could have been. Let's see how he can perform on these. Oh dear. Just gonna have to wait a couple of laps before we get going again. That's going to help out a little bit with tire wear and make it a little bit easier. In all fairness, that was only Finns and Lord James who did that. Lord James being out of the picture, that only left Finns with it. But of course, now with this many safety cars, essentially it's been nullified that. Although one more lap off the safety car. Considering usually we only get like 2 to 3 laps, and J-Bree's already been cleared. We're already almost halfway through the race. Lap 10. Okay. Right. Okay. Now this is just gonna make things a bit more difficult for Finns right now, because he was betting on just being able to carry on and gain time, but that's been thrown out the window because those tires, those softs, don't last very long. Of course, but since it is Finns, I think he can make it work. He just needs to get going with it. He just needs to get on with it and do his best, and then take the pain a little bit towards the end of his stint to pit in, and then just go on an absolute mad mission. Essentially, pretty much a last first challenge then. But that depends if there's no safety cars. If there's another safety car, that's obviously going to help him out a bit. Of course, we don't know that, as the safety car should come into this to the pits at the end of this lap. Vapid now, indeed. Vapid now is back within a second, of course, and he needs to stay there to get DRS. But considering how it's been going since the beginning of the race, maybe a bit more difficult, a bit easier said than done. And we have a look at the telemetry as we can see Finn's waiting to go, and I think he's gone now, activating the ERS. Tom Gorian once again closer to him than anyone else. Oh, it almost looked like, oh, there's a spin. That's Gold Killer around with Clumby taking the position. That's another yellow flag, but there should be no issues whatsoever with the safety car. And the same situation again with with Junior Correa now being closer to Tom than what Tom is to Finn's. Same exact situation. Going on board with Vapid to see how we can fare up against these two. Yeah, his tires. Yeah, those tires do not feel shouldn't feel too good anymore. 6 laps on them. Of course, most of them are the safety car, but still. A couple of laps can make all the difference in a race result. This time though, Vapid is a lot closer to Junior than he was previously. All three of them having the same amount of ERS deployment at their disposal. So Finns is attempting to pull away and form a void between himself and Tom Gorian. Clumby with a time penalty. Just a second penalty of the race. So now it looked like Vapid was struggling, but now it looks like he's gone on top of the car. only 6 tenths behind Junior Correa. It's gonna help him a lot with the DRS factor. As Tom looked like he ran a little bit wide, almost hitting the wall. Junior really putting the pressure, piling on the blowtorch on Tom's rear gearbox diffuser bits and pieces. Vapid 6/10 of a second behind these two, with Kozlesko and Tirsi Deaton following behind. Tirsi Deaton actually taking the position now ahead of his teammate. Finn streaks away, Tom dragging Junior Correa and Vapid along. Is there anything Junior can do to attack? Is there anything Tom can do to defend? Into the chicane we go. Tom runs a little bit wide. He runs a little bit of a wider line through there to get a better exit, a more stable car. Deaton catching up to Vapid as DRS is enabled. Deaton also within a second of the Mercedes driver. He's playing mind games. He's not trying to overtake him just yet. Finn streaks away, 1.7 seconds. We're on lap 13 out of 25. We've reached the halfway mark of the race. The Tom Vapid really suddenly finding pace out of nowhere. Suddenly, his car switching on, tires switching on. Looks like he's got the grip to contend with these two in front of him. Although Tom has managed to pull away a little bit of a gap. Vapid not getting much closer. Deaton joining in on the fight. Vapid's made a mistake though. Vapid has run wide and that's going to put Deaton on the attack. He's going to be on the offensive. Side by side through the final corner. Still wheel to wheel. Around the outside, Vapid may have to concede position, and he does concede position. And that little mistake may have cost him a lot of time there, because now Deaton is outside of the DRS window. That means Vapid is going to be stuck for a little while behind Deaton here on the mediums. Tires that are really working well for the McLaren driver at the moment. And the gap, 1.2 seconds. Yep. It is. Maybe Tom needs to think now that those two are behind him, and over a second behind nonetheless. Yeah, there you go. Junior getting past him, so now what Tom needs to do is not use his ERS and just let himself get dragged along with Junior now, because Junior certainly looks like he's got the pace as Vapid sends it down the inside and regains the position against Deaton, but that's cost him a lot of time. Again, he's gone from 1.1 seconds to 1.9 seconds behind the two in front of him. And right now, it looks like he has to use his mirrors more than actually look ahead at the blue Alpine of Tom Gorian in front of his championship rival. So any way, shape or form, Tom stays ahead, it's always going to please him. As Kozlesko's in the pits for a new set of mediums, maybe had some wing damage along the way. And yeah, Fins is not getting away anymore because he's used the best of his tires now. And Junior, 2 seconds, just 2 seconds behind Fins. So we've got 11 laps to go, just about 10.5 laps to go in this race. Actually, Fins now starting to pull away again. He's gained just another additional 0.2 of a second. And if Tom can remember the advice I gave him, he shouldn't have too much trouble. Because Vapid now has to fight Deton. Deton who's blast past Vapid once again. The two Mercedes not having the best race today. Every time they overtake each other, every time Deton gets overtaken by Vapid or Vapid gets overtaken by Deton, they lose a little bit of time. They lose distance. They lose the slipstream. There's a yellow flag though. What happened? Skull Killer is spun. He spun now, ideally for Fins and for Tom at the moment, and for Junior Correa, because they are slowly pulling away as Tom goes for the move very early. Lap 16 out of 25. We're 10 laps left in this one, and he takes P2. If I were him, I would have waited until the final lap to really make the overtake, because now, by doing that little move, it's going to cost him 51 years, that being in a couple of tenths of a second. Because the gap was closed from 2.5 seconds to 1.9 seconds between Junior Correa and Deton. And that's going to that just gets Vapid closer to Tom. And Tom doesn't want that. So Tom really needs to play it smart here. He needs to not fight Junior here. He needs to let him bite. There's a yellow flag. One of the Mercedes, I think, may be doing something. Skull Killer. Safety car. Not a safety car. Yeah. So question is, does Tom pit for mediums? What does Tom do? What does Fins do? What does Junior do? Are all these guys gonna pit in for new tires? Is Tom going? Yes, they are. They're gonna pit. If now is the ideal time to put softs on. What has happened? What has he done? What has Correa done? Correa's just crashed into the wall. Yeah, I don't know what I don't know. He just went straight on into the wall. Maybe trying to avoid Tom, maybe? I don't know. That's the second retirement. Very, very weird. And yeah, that's just a car less between Tom and Vapid in that case. That's really not what he wants. Oh. Ooh. Yeah, exactly. I was about to say. Now, that's a bit of a critical situation now for Tom. But as you can see, if a driver of Fins' caliber cannot pull away on the soft tires, because obviously soft tires, they wear down very quickly. Fins is on the softs again, but I think this time around he can't get away. I think he has the ability on fresh softs now. 7 laps. He can do. Wait, not 7. It's 8. 8 laps. I mean, you can't forget 5. Can't forget that 5 or 6 of them were in safety car conditions. So he's gonna take the chance. He's gonna take the chance any day of the week to pit in for softs and keep the lead. And Tom on the mediums, maybe he's asking himself, oh, he should have gone on to the softs. Well, personally, I don't think necessarily, because softs wear down pretty quickly around here. But obviously, we will have to find out. Personally, I never liked the softs around there. The softs just didn't like. The softs don't really bring you that big of an advantage, really. Actually, it's more of an advantage being on the mediums in the long run than on the softs in this type of situation, because the softs just overheat and melt in your hands pretty much, while the mediums are just the perfect. Mediums work nicely, and the hards are just they're too cold, and there's a lot of lacking grip out there. So really, the medium tire is the sweet spot, because softs you burn them out, and the hards you just can't get them to work properly, and the medium is the perfect in between those two settings, those 3 tire compounds. Maybe it was the best idea for Tom to stay out on the mediums. We'll find out at the end of this lap, because I think the safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. Pretty sure we're gonna have very interesting final few laps. 8 laps to go, 7.5 now, pretty much. That I truly believe the safety car will be in at the end of this lap. No, you've noticed that nobody's really weaving anymore. That's because everyone's figured out that you can just brake the entire time and get heat into your tires like that without wearing your tires. So that's why, if you might be asking yourself, why is nobody trying to warm the tires up? Oh, they are, believe me. They are trying to warm them up. They're just constantly braking, applying. You can see here in Finn's is a good example. He's constantly applying some ounce of brake pressure. So constantly applying pressure to his brakes, because that's just a cheat code essentially for heating up tires without wearing them down, and that's something everyone has learned over the course of this game's lifespan. And here you go, safety car in, like I predicted, into the pits at the end of this lap. And boy, am I absolutely knackered and nervous about this one. Fins is really waiting for the last minute to go, because I think he's not gone yet. He's gone now. There you go, he's gone. With Deaton very aggressively already looking for an overtake, but he can't really do anything about it. Nothing can be done due to the yellow flags. And we are through. 8 drivers left in this one. We started with 11, 3 retirees. Junior Correa with a very weird retirement, and Vapid already putting Deaton under lots of pressure, but we know Deaton knows how to defend. He's very quick, he knows how to defend, but I think this time there's nothing he can do against the Mercedes. Oh! They've made contact, and Fredster gets past. Obviously, because he's his teammate, he's going to let him back through. But that has... Oh, Skull Killer. Skull Killer is having a look at the 2 Mercedes cars. Skull Killer, I think, was the Season 10 Tier 2 champion. And rocking up with some good pace, but... Obviously, he's been having some difficulty today. Tom Gorian. Tom gets past. Obviously, this is putting Fredster in a very uncomfortable position, because his teammate is in front of him. And of course, Fredster back in his first league race in 3 years. Usually he would be stewarding this one, but today he's decided to have some fun. And he could help Vapid here tonight. Of course, he is his teammate, or he's just either that, or he's just gonna be like, no, I don't care about this. I'm just gonna, if I can get past you, I will get past you. And essentially every man for himself. Thanks to that, Deaton has been dropped all the way to last place, unfortunately. But Vapid now is stuck behind Skullkiller. Now the question is, really, does Finns attack Tom, or is Tom begging Finns to help him in this in this situation? Who knows? There's a yellow flag once. Tom actually sort of kind of gaining some time on Finns. 7/10 is the gap. Skullkiller is gonna get put under a lot of pressure by Vapid Coot 74 in the Mercedes. It's very important that these two do not use ERS, especially Tom. Now, if I were Tom, I would have waited as Vapid sends it down the inside and gets the overtake done and dusted. But Skullkiller does look like he's got some very good amounts of straight line speed around the outside of turn 1. What can the Ferrari driver do? Nothing. Round down the inside. He's going to put Vapid in an uncomfortable position. Deton speeding in the pit lane, penalty for him. As Skullkiller gets closer and closer and closer to Vapid 74. Oh, he's hit the wall. Skullkiller may be getting some damage there, not to disclose that. Doesn't look like it though, he's keeping up nicely with Vapid here. Almost a second up. Can he stay within DRS range? Now all Tom needs to do now, I've told him this many times over the course of the week. If you find yourself in second place, as Skullkiller somehow manages to stay close to Vapid and gets past down the straight, and Vapid is gonna be screaming in that cockpit. He's gonna be angry like nothing else, because now he's just losing time, consistently losing time. He's trying to get past the Ferrari down the inside of turn 1. Nothing he can do there. Kozlesko on the softs is also sort of sticking with them now. After getting past Fredster, Kozlesko could be a massive thorn in the side of Vapid, because also last week Kozlesko doing a fantastic job getting the podium, and Skullkiller just doing his thing. He's just trying to score as many points as possible, and that is indirectly helping Tom with this one out massively. 22, we're 22 laps in. 3 laps. 4 laps to go, 3.5 laps to go now. Apologies, my throat is completely done. And that's put Kozlesko. That's put Kozlesko in prime position to attack the Mercedes driver. Still, everything is to play for here. Tom, not heeding my advice, blasts past Finns and takes the lead once again. Really, I don't understand why Tom is overtaking Finns. Skullkiller still remains ahead of Vapid, even with DRS. Didn't manage to get any closer to the Ferrari to really put him under pressure and maybe go for a move. Okay, Vapid this time around is very close. He's gonna send it. He is gonna send it down the inside. It's very close between the two cars. The Ferrari keeps the inside. Runs very wide though, not ideal. He gets a great run. Does Vapid. They're going side by side. DRS for Vapid Coot 74. He cuts across his line as if to say, you stay behind me now. But of course that is not gonna happen, because Skullkiller has got some killer straight line speed tonight, and of course sacrificing a bit of performance in the corners. But thanks to that, he's got some massive straight line speed advantage. Because let's go there in 5th place. Also wanting to get a piece of the action for himself. And it looks like the softs are already starting to struggle. These guys are already struggling for pace a little bit because, yeah, Finn's is also a little bit on the limit there with his DRS. He's just barely within DRS range, and he's going to close up, and I think he's going to go for the overtake. No, he isn't. He isn't. And that's what like I said. Down into P5 goes the Mercedes driver, Kozlesko. These two obviously really getting in the way of Vapid. And he's not going to be happy about that. Skullkiller is now trying to defend against 2 drivers now. Kozlesko having a cheeky look down the inside. Nothing much he could have done there. Now Finns is much closer to Tom Gorian this time around. He's got a full deployment of DRS available to him. He's impatient and gets past him. So please, Tom, whatever you do not pass him just yet. Because if Tom wants to have any sort of chance to win this race, he's going to have to wait. He has to wait until the final straight of the final lap. He needs to do that if he wants to have any chance of victory here. Because if he doesn't, if he's ahead on the final lap, he's going to get absolutely destroyed down that straight. And talking of getting absolutely destroyed, at the moment Vapid is nowhere at the moment. He's just being held up at these two. Fredster also consistently dropping further and further behind. Clumby now getting past the Mercedes driver. Again, back in his first league race in 3 years. He's been stewarding this season. Great steward indeed in my eyes. Very serious person. And it's nice to see him having some fun today as well. And Vapid, nothing Vapid can do. There's nothing he can do. And Tom, I think Tom has heeded the advice. I think Tom has indeed. So this is the ideal situation for Tom. Tom could get past Finns here. Finns, who's got a little bit, they've about the same amount of ERS deployment left. Skullkiller is now being attacked. Oh, Vapid is having a look. He can't because he gets boxed in. There's nothing he can do. Nothing at all, the Mercedes. There's nothing he can do here. Meanwhile, Tom, he's almost losing out on the DRS. Come on, Tom. Stay close. Use your ERS. You can use it. It's the final lap. He does use it. He's over a second now, though. Come on, Tom. Can he keep it within DRS range? No, he can't. He cannot. He's lost too much time. So the question is, can he still some way, somehow get close to Finns? No, he can't. It looked like Finns was just playing with him the entire time at this point. So unfortunately, looks for Tom at least, unfortunately, looks like he's not going to get the win today. As Vapid, Kozlesko, and Skullkiller. Down the inside goes Vapid. Oh, Vapid gets a hit. Oh, Vapid pushes him. Oh, yellow flag. Vapid with overtake. Is he going to get past? Oh, turns in on him. Vapid just barely gets past. We completely missed Finns, by the way, crossing the line to win the race. But it is Finns and Tom in second place, with Kozlesko, Vapid, and Skullkiller finishing in 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Clumby crossing the line now, side by side with Fredster. And Deaton, the final driver to still have to cross the line. And unfortunately, for Tom, wasn't close enough. Just missed out on it. On the win. Maybe he's going to be a bit disappointed, but the most important thing for him today is that he has beaten Vapid, and he should be back into the lead of this championship. And there you have it. As for Finns, wins the race. And lifting up the winner's trophy. And it's time for the champagne. I think these three are very happy indeed. Kozlesko, another third place, another important amount of points for the constructors. And a very happy bunch of people there. And there you have it, your final race results. A little bit of a scary zombie-like Finns there with his race-winning graphics. Yeah, that's so second to first. As for Finns, wins for Alfa Romeo here at Las Vegas today. Tom, brilliantly done there in the end, still to get second place. Could have been a win. I feel bummed for that, in all honesty. Unfortunately, it is what it is. Tom, though, deserved finishing in second place. Kozlesko, a very great race there from 9th place. My driver of the day today is Kozlesko because he's pulled off some amazing moves. As Skolker also doing pretty well in 5th place. And that is it. And Tom Gorian leads the championship again, heading into the final race in Brazil next week at the same time. You do not want to miss this. You really don't. Because it is closest Tom has ever gotten to challenging for a championship win. Vapid could be the first RFL champion to win it twice. We will find out next week. And it's Brazil next week. And you know, in Brazil, anything can happen. Weather, crashes, whatnot. It's all to play for. And hopefully you'll tune in. You need to see this. You need to see this finale. And I hope you've enjoyed today's race as much as I have. Got very excited towards the end there, not going to lie. Cal, thank you for being here with me. Hope you've enjoyed it as well. Saturday, in 8 p.m. UK time. Make sure to be there because you do not want to miss this. And that's all from me. And have a good one. See you next week. Goodbye.